A wonderful good morning to beautiful Dr. Wiebke Grimmig. You are my hero because you are on my podcast now for the third time. And it's so cool because before we just talked about and I just already had another idea for another podcast episode. But I would love just if, yeah, the audience does not know you yet. I would love for you just to introduce yourself. Who's
Mm.
Wiebke?
Thank you so much for inviting me back. It's great. I always love to be here and to talk with you about different issues and topics we experienced ourselves or would like to share. Um, I'm Wiebke. I'm living in Germany, quite in the middle in Göttingen, a quite little town. And I'm a firm believer in that we always make sense. So I channel that into focus mentoring and to combine nervous system knowledge with deep work practices. And I'm working basically with people who say, well, I get the feeling my mind is all over the place and I can't focus, but also I kind of sense anxiety and kinds of upheavals where I feel overwhelmed by challenges, not so much by entrepreneurship itself, but by life itself sometimes. And I just like to build a different relationship with myself and my business and people around me. So, my way to do that is by offering nervous system knowledge and ways to really feel seen and safe and to go from there.
It sounds wonderful just by listening to your words.
Mm.
Um, yeah, we we're talking about the topic, and I think that nervous system, you already pointed out how important that is when we work as well or going through life. And in my experience, it was game changing when I realized, oh my God, I thought I'm relaxed. So like the parasympathetic activation, but I realized I wasn't freeze.
Mm.
And so I learned about that nervous system and that part that when you are in that parasympathetic mode, that it could be both, that you have that ventral state and the dorsal state. And I was in that dorsal state. I wasn't freeze.
Mm.
So I was not alive. And I think your work is all about that to bring people in that wonderful ventral state. Yeah.
Mm.
Feel connected with themselves. And do you want to talk about that? What do you think? How do you experience that? How does your clients experience that? And I think for me, it's so important that we bring that knowledge to the people. And yeah,
Mm. Mm. It's a wonderful question because feeling connected is such a human need. It's a basic human need. So, our nervous system, whenever we face a challenge or uncertainty or we don't know what our next step is, no matter the topic, we look around for people who we could ask or who could guide us or who could
yeah,
just be with us in this situation, in this particular state. And so, the freeze state you mentioned, I experienced that a lot in my life without really knowing about it. And it was quite relieving to actually say, okay, you know what? This is a very high sympathetic state. All this energy is mobilized and it's blocked at the same time.
yes, yes.
So,
That's how I feel. Thank you for explaining it that way. Because yes, exactly.
so, so I could feel all this energy and inspiration and ideas trying to find a way to be channeled into some kind of framework, some direction. And I had no idea what to do with this physical sensations, with the emotions that were attached to it. All I could grasp were thoughts like, I'm not good enough. I need to try harder. If I try harder, I will belong. I will feel more connected. to people around me. So this might be colleagues, that might be people I admire, this might be friends, family, whoever. So to actually say, okay, this is not a solution that's coming from my mind. I can't think myself into a solution. I have to meet these physical sensations, but I
Yeah.
need to have a framework for that. I need a map. I need some kind of coordinates or orientation, how to interpret this. Is this natural? Is this normal?
Yes.
What to do with it? And who can guide me through this? And so it was quite a relief to actually learn about this is not something only I experience. I'm not lonely with this. I'm not the only person on this planet. This is a completely natural physical reaction to unsafe, uncertain circumstances that my body perceives as uncertain. So I always make sense. And the nervous system and the nervous system knowledge, including all the knowledge about trauma and coping mechanisms, was a way of, first of all, meeting myself through this framework, to see myself through this lens and actually come up with a lot of kindness and compassion for myself. And then to say, okay, you know what? You know
It's
what? I can actually, if this is just this amount of energy, I don't have to think myself into a solution. I could go outside and move my body and to actually see, okay, my mind's clearing, the brain fog is disappearing. And if I may not have the solution, but I'm changing the state in which I'm in. So I have a chance to see different perspective solutions. I actually kind of waking up to other people around me who are just waiting for me to ask for support. So nervous system knowledge became the framework to navigate challenges like, wow, what am I feeling?
I remember when I realized that I am in that freeze mode. And if we look at that weight goes up, that you have to move gently to get out of that freeze mode, that I felt completely anxious.
Mm,
Because then what was like, I felt, it felt like war inside of me.
mm,
And I didn't want to feel war.
mm,
You know, when you're like a yoga teacher like me, you come, or you, a part of you is like spiritual. You think this is not love. This is
mm,
so wrong. It feels so wrong. And the knowledge or the science, how it works, helped me to understand, oh, wow, this is normal.
mm,
So that if you start to get out or to move, that anger comes up. So this is what I learned and experienced. I don't know how you did experience that. Like, I wouldn't,
mm,
it's not a state because it's like it's happening something, and it was scary for me. And then to learn, okay, this emotion, this energy, what moves up, this is, I can't handle that. And then to learn little by little, and I really want to emphasize that little by little, I can deal with it and I'm able to, I wouldn't say hold because I feel like you can't hold energy in some kind of way because it moves, to trust and then to build up at least in that moment a sense of confidence that you are able to navigate yourself through this.
mm, mhm. Absolutely.
Did you experience that getting out of freeze?
Mm. Um, at first, I didn't move out of freeze.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, okay, my body is telling me no.
Yes.
It keeps the door shut. Like we know you're overwhelmed by this, so we're not opening these flood doors and you'll be overwhelmed by a tsunami. That's not
Yes.
doing any good. So that was a kind of humbling experience. Like, okay, I might have the knowledge here. I can read all the books, all the podcasts, but my body says no. So what do I really need? I can't do this by myself. I need something else. And consuming all this knowledge with my mind helped me to understand what was needed because there were people and experts and friends telling me, you know what? Your body's saying no because there's no safe, secure framework for opening up. Who's guiding you out of it? Going in might be easy, but how do you come out of it? So I go like, yeah, that's a good point. So I learned a lot about co-regulation and that we are social animals and we need each other. So that was a very, very important stepstone to really coming out of freeze and to understand within co-regulation to experience an amount of anxiety and overwhelm, anger, whatever was stored inside, and then to give me time again to digest it fully and then to do the next step. So it was like eating a meal bit by bit and not consuming it whole and feel stuffed. So and that's when I actually realized, okay, this is like my body telling me, okay, that's fine, that's safe, that's okay. There's another person. So it was kind of like building trust in myself that I can build up capacity bit by bit with the help of other people until the point that I can do it myself. And but there are still some issues, some topics where I go like, I want to have a person around that feels safe, that's trustworthy, that's proven to me time and time again that she's reliable and that I can talk about these things and that it's much easier that way. So just because I can do it myself now doesn't mean I have to. So I'm still choosing a lot of connection and belonging and some kind of community in order to keep building that trust in myself. I don't have to. And that's one of the other stepstone to actually realize, okay, this is natural for me to feel this way and to struggle with what's basically stored in my body and what has been stored there for years. That isn't that actually a source for confidence in itself? That all this stuff was in here for years and I'm still here.
Yes. Isn't that amazing what
Isn't that?
body is able?
Yeah. And I didn't even know, it wasn't even conscious. So, what can I do when I'm conscious about this? Oh my God. Like, there's so much trust coming from this perspective.
Oh, thank you for that.
Like, you don't have to do a particular step in order to start trusting yourself. When you look backwards and you go, like, oh my God, now I get a clear picture of how much energy, how much struggle, how much conflict has been there for like 20 odd years. And this body is still here. It's been doing this all the time. All the conflict I felt inside me was actually working for me to not be overwhelmed. That's a different way of framing the same situation, hasn't changed. But it's such a nourishment for confidence and self trust and self belief.
I'm just wondering what we are able to do when we're really able to navigate, to heal, and that we like transformed like the old shit. Sorry for the word. But then what's after? It's like mind blowing. I can't grab it because as you like pointed out, it's like for me, my case, I guess it was storage for over 40 years. So what we are able to handle.
Mm, yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I think for the first time I felt really safe and seen in a group. It was a somatic experience group. Um, And that was amazing. And if you wanna like, I don't know if you're German, I had a podcast episode about attachment trauma, Bindungstrauma, and I talked to my therapist. It was Anna Thiemann. I think it was podcast episode 22. So I absolutely recommend to be with people you feel really safe. And that ventral state, it was amazing.
Mm.
It was like a little like the happiness, like the happy moments before, but so much more with more ease. It
Mm.
was like glitter, but light glitter.
Mm.
So how did you experience for the, I don't know, maybe for the first time that ventral state really being connected and that flow inside of you? And how did you experience that? Because it was my experience. It could be totally different from you.
Mm. Mm. It's an interesting question. That's why I'm pausing. I want to answer honestly because what I felt in hindsight
Mhm.
was this sense of I always felt this connection to a core of mine that's been telling me this is okay, this is fine, this is just me doing my job. So I always kind of had this kind of connection to myself, speak as in centered, but I felt like stuck when it came to how do I connect this, who I truly am, with other people that didn't feel safe. And
Mhm.
I distinctively remember some situations or moments where I was connecting to animals, which was so much easier
Yes.
than to people because I felt like we're talking about body language here. And I became very aware of my breathing patterns, how that could accelerate energy or calm down. And that's something that really made me think about okay, what is the role of my body here when I'm
Mhm.
talking to other human beings? Because we are not that profoundly different. There's something going on here. So there was always in the back of my mind that there's a physical aspect to all of this, how I relate to people, how I feel connected or not connected.
Yeah.
And but I really struggled with finding words, really finding a language, and to open up to people about it and to not feel like a total weirdo or a freak talking about how do we actually connect, how do we relate, because
Yeah.
it always seems so like it's a given. We don't talk about certain things.
Yes.
There's a silence code about some things.
Yes.
Not too deep into other topics. Definitely not. And I go like, well, all I see are blockages. Like this is the stuff I'm really interested in. This is how I could meet you as a person. Like, what are you struggling with? What gives you joy? What do you find inspiring? But we can't talk about it. So I've nowhere to go. How do I relate to you? I'm not interested in small talk. So one of the first ventral experiences was in a breathwork session where I experienced in a trauma sensitive setting how this how the body can actually take over and your mind is totally safe and calm and can let go and your body takes over because you feel so safe and you get in contact with all these emotions. It's seen, it's it's embraced, and then you have this completely new experiences of what it actually means to be met in what you feel and who you are in that particular moment. And it might be different an hour later or a week later. It doesn't matter. You're not confined into any kind of this is Wiebke, this is her identity, this is her personality, and anything else is kind of weird. No categories at all attached, no judgment attached. So this was a really true and profound experience to where all of this came together. Like my core speaking to me, this is right. This is good. This is who you are at the moment, and there's no judgment attached, nothing necessary to put you into a good or bad, right or wrong category. And that was freeing. That was really liberating. So I kept on learning.
Mhm. So a moment where you were able to be yourself,
Mm,
everything which was there in that moment.
it was a moment of showing,
Mhm.
um, I'd say, a hurt part of myself that
Oh,
had this tendency of always, in a way of trying to protect herself, to never be seen. And especially not to other people, but also not being seen by my adult self. Like, this is not happening. This is not me. This is something else. So this, in the long run, caused a lot of anxiety because I was afraid to, this is not allowed to pop up. This mustn't come out.
yeah.
And I can't sit in a cafe with a friend and suddenly burst into tears. This is not allowed to happen. So this was a very strict, harsh rule that I was living by without recognizing it. It was just normal. And to come into contact with that and to feel this is so safe, this is just embraced with so much
Yeah.
warmth and kindness and compassion and understanding that this was actually allowed to come up. So my body said, okay, this is the right environment. There are people here. I feel connected. And this won't be overwhelming, therefore. So it was opening up, and I was in contact with a lot of grief.
Okay.
And to actually feel that, where is it sitting in my body? It's like a corset around my chest,
Yeah.
and it's restricting. And the moment I released that, it was loosening bit by bit. And to just have this memory of that experience helps me to this day to actually say, okay, you know what? This doesn't have to be overwhelming. Stepping into that emotion to the right amount with the right people and the right circumstances is release. Not in any circumstances. I'm not pushing through. I'm not doing this by myself. So I became aware, what does it actually mean when we say safe? Because I had no concept of that. That wasn't even a word that I would apply to relationships. So maybe someone who's listening right now might start thinking about, what does it mean to feel safe in a relationship? What's a good friend?
Yes.
What's the sense of true connection? Do I have to hide something? Or can I say, you know, I don't want to talk about it, but I'm sad right now? That's a huge difference. And to just tap into this kind of, what does safety actually mean?
Yes. And I feel like a little sad. Also,
Mm,
like my inner child is very proud because I take really good care more and more that I'm really careful with whom I want to share really who I am.
mm,
And I have really less friends than before. And I also sorted out a lot of contacts on my phone because I don't know how you experience that. For me, it makes no difference sometimes if I am surrounded in reality or if it's just a energy through the phone or on social media.
mm,
And it's like if I feel like overwhelmed, I just put off my phone and I feel better. So
mm,
this is really maybe a strategy that does not help all the time, but it helps sometimes. Also like the computer and Wi-Fi. And I'm also thinking of with what I don't want to be in touch.
mm,
And I just like cut things off and yeah, we said we want to try to explore because there are really some things that it's really for me complex because I feel sometimes before that I could be probably in freeze soon. So it's like my
Mm.
body starts to build up a wall. And then my mind goes like, no, 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 I don't want to be in freeze because I know how it feels to get out of
Mm. Mm.
it. So, and it's sometimes just by talking to someone.
Mhm.
And I think this is my solution. That person is in freeze, and I recognize that. And
Mm.
that I want to be, maybe I learn to be in touch or just to be in the same state because we talked about we social beings.
Mm.
So we tried probably in my case as a kid to adapt or to handle a situation which I felt like overwhelmed when someone maybe was like screaming at me and maybe not on freeze, just like a lots of like sympathetic activation on like my counterpart, the other side. So, and I literally must say in those situations, I still have no solutions for that.
Mm.
What I also do is, sorry to say that, but I try to avoid those people
Mm.
that bring me in that state.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
also when I feel like that they are really not aware that they have a lots of stored stress inside of them or anger.
Mm.
So I can be in touch for a special amount of time, but then I feel like collapsing.
Mm.
Like same like experiences, or is it just me?
No, I'd say since I've been doing this for a long time now with clients as well, you're not alone at all. Um, um, I believe one way or another, we all know this kind of state of freeze, and but we're usually there comes a point when we start to become aware if we try to understand ourselves and practice reflection.
Yes.
What is actually triggering this state within me? So
Mhm.
personally, I learned last year, which was quite a revelation, when people in general, doesn't have to be a particular friend or anyone, just when people are talk to me with a rather blank face, like there's not much emotion going on, my system interprets that as being dangerous. So like, okay, maybe some anger might be coming up in the next stage. So this was really interesting just to catch this. Wait a second, my body's reacting to something. She's talking about something very, it's nothing really profound or anything. We're just talking about who goes to the supermarket, but her face is rather blank. There's not much motion going on here. I can't read her facial expressions. So my system goes into, oh, what's
Mhm.
coming up next? And it's trying to build up a kind of protection. And this actually impacted how I started to communicate with that person. Without both of us knowing that my body was reacting to hers.
Mhm.
And we were both completely unaware of what was going on and how this dynamic actually was playing out. So just to catch that and to enter a conversation about, you know what, I just found something out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that right now because we can turn this around now. We can go on a totally different path how we communicate. Because when I'm aware of that, I can make it transparent. I can tell you, and then your own perception of me is changing as well. So we are entering a totally different pattern of communicating, of relating. So that was really, really interesting to actually catch this moment where my body was reacting to something I didn't really catch with my mind. It was just a perception. So I believe this comes from practice
Mhm.
and of getting to know your own patterns.
Yes.
And I totally forgot your question. Are you just going with the flow? And I go like, what did she ask actually?
That what like triggers me is that then
Mm,
like I can't like hold it or just like that I adapt.
yes.
And I feel like I don't want that. So I
Mm.
want to be like in my ventral state, and it doesn't matter what happens. Like, I mean, I'm surrounded by people, but it was so interesting because you was talking you've been like talking about the face expression,
Mm.
and I tried like to, how is it with me to compare that, um, that I don't have to look, or I don't look at like the people. I sense something with
Mm.
my body. So that probably might you experience something, you had like you looked at something and you connected that. And for me, there's no like obvious trigger outside.
Mm.
Just it happens like this.
Mm.
And the person is normal, standing in front of me, like talking normal.
Mm.
So, and of course, it's trauma response, yeah, that probably scan through the body and what might could come up.
Mm. Yeah.
It was dangerous in the past to be aware. Oh my God, now it can happen, it can happen, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I have to like use my strategy to go and freeze or run away or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think those are the game-changing moments. And then I think what's the solution? Because you can't run away from everyone
Mm-mm.
if they're not aware, like, why she's like behaving so weird. And like to say, and sometimes I did that, by the way. I said, I feel like you angry. And the person said, no, I'm not angry at all.
Mm.
So, or like, yeah, that it's for me, I am not in that self-confidence right now really to communicate that, because that person is either not aware
Mm.
or just like say, or just like deny something and say, no, that's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yeah,
is for me tough.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes then it happens that the person might say a couple of weeks later, oh, I feel really stressed out. And I said, yeah, I felt that weeks ago.
Mm.
Like now it comes up. Like, or like it was with a bodywork session, and I told someone, I feel like you're really tired. Maybe you just like wanna like look at your sleep patterns. So there's like I
Mm.
feel that there's like you're tired, you need more sleep. No, 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 I don't need that. A couple of weeks later, oh, I slept a lot the last weeks. I felt
Mm.
like I'm really tired, you know. So
Mm.
yeah, I guess that's the thing, that I sense something and the people just deny that. Say, no, no,
Mm.
that's not true. And this is for me dangerous. Because maybe as
Mm.
a kid I sensed something and maybe I told my dad like this and he was like felt, I don't know
Mm.
what's the English word, offended.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
don't know,
that,
he was like then screaming at me or hit me. I don't know what really happened, but th those
mm.
are really dangerous moments for me.
Yeah, because in that moment, what's the message your system is perceiving? I'm not being seen. And not being seen is
Yeah.
always dangerous because we're not connected to someone.
Mhm.
Because if the other person can see me, then I
Mhm.
can relax.
Yes.
I can feel safer, even from a physical standpoint of view. So that's a really, really profound observation in relationships. Like, what does it actually mean to feel safe when I'm connected to someone? And if you don't feel safe or you have got this impulse to avoid, without having a different kind of understanding about what's going on, I'd always pledge for then keep avoiding. That's totally fine because just to confront yourself with the same situation over and over again won't do any good. So I think that's a total legitimate way of dealing with that and to become more aware of what you need and what you want to do with this.
Mhm.
And also, it doesn't only depend on you. This is a relationship. So I usually come back to people who go like, no, 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 I don't feel that because I did that myself as well because I wasn't aware of many things I felt. or I was suppressing that.
Sorry that I just like jump in. It's so funny because it was really, it feels like decades ago. It was educational training, timeline therapy. So like systemic working, and we were like at lunch, and the trainer said, you were talking about anxiety. And she looked at me and said, is this a topic of you? And I was like, totally listen, no. Me? Not at all.
I'm all zen.
No, no.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is so funny because I had a podcast episode. It's called Life Artist. I think it's number 41. And I'm talking about exactly that I was like a triathlete, like on the mountain bike, and like let's like go through this. This is probably what most of the coaches, by the way, like suggest. Don't think, just do it.
And that's funny, isn't it? Because in those situations where people go like, no, 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 that's not me. I'm not stressed out.
Yeah.
That's the words they were presented with. That's what they learned they can do. Because when I'm speaking from my own experience, I was suppressing so many emotions that I really genuinely thought this is not me this person is talking about. So I didn't feel seen in my strength of not
Yes.
being anxious, of not falling apart. So I was feeling offended, angry, and go like, oh, I was dismissing it. But we're missing each other. And
We don't match
what
at the moment. Yeah.
yeah, and in that particular moment, and when we think about personal development, it's like building up the capacity for staying open a little while longer and go like, well, what could be true about this? Do I build up the capacity and the willingness? If these two ingredients are not present, this relationship is not for me. People can have the capacity and are not willing, or they're willing and not have the capacity. Then we keep missing each other because it's not my job as a friend or a family member to enable you to build up the capacity. What I need from you is a certain respect for what I'm telling you I'm perceiving. And if you keep dismissing it, it's starting to hurt me. So I'm not staying in a relationship that keeps hurting me and we are not going anywhere. This might be part of the process, but if we're not going anywhere and this just keeps happening, and it goes vice versa. If I'm not building up my capacity for this other person,
Yeah. And
or am not willing to stay, then there's no real true connection. And then there's no way this is gonna be beneficial for either of us.
that I really feel seen and supported. And I had like two situations. One was also with a like a leadership thing, and it was like a group meeting online, and I said to the person, I feel stressed out. And the answer was right away. There was no pause at all, like it's your stress. Um, Just like to be aware if they're like coaches, like listen what it does to us. You don't feel like felt and seen. It's like there's just like your problem. I don't want to deal with that. So okay, if you don't want to deal with that, I don't want to work with you. And I don't trust you because you don't have the capacity, and probably it's just a little glimpse of your inside world, how you treat yourself.
And that's always the case. Like when you feel like you'd like to support your friend who's going through some tough times and she's angry all the time. This for me was a personal challenge because I didn't have much capacity for anger. And I go like, I can totally see that, but it's really hard for me to stay present with you right now. Not because I've got a problem with you personally, because I lack capacity for anger. So just to have these words and to trust myself to put this out there and to trust the relationship that she's not dependent on me as a person to deal with this, just to
Yeah.
go like, I'm appreciating you're sharing this with me. Whoo! And now I'm telling you what this does to me and my system. And we meet, and then she goes like, okay, can I tell you when I'm calmer, when I'm through the process, and I can talk more about the anger than being angry right now. And I go like, that's totally fine. I just need a bit more distance because part of me still perceive that you're angry at me. And I'm fully aware consciously that that's not the case, but it's still hard to hold for me.
Yeah.
So this is how we build up capacity with each other and anger as an emotion. And I did work by myself with other people about this issue. And then we came back together and I realized, wow, I built a different relationship with anger. And now I can hold more space. I'm more present with her while she's angry. It's something totally unrelated to me,
That
but it
cool.
feels so much lighter and we can be so much more in connection with each other, and she feels like our relationship deepened.
Yeah.
And it could have been a breaking point. It could have been something, oh, you're always angry. I can't deal with that. Leave me alone. Go to a therapist. And it was a conscious decision by both of us to deal with that and to grow in that respect. But a year before that, I didn't have the vocabulary to and the language to actually tell her what's going on with me. So this could have been a breaking point for the relationship because I wasn't ready. And so it's also about circumstance and timing. And it doesn't have to be a massive, which sometimes feels like a massive failure on a personal level to not be able to hold on to friends or family members or whatever, when we actually need distance for the time being to figure out what's going on and to build up capacity or to make a conscious decision of that's not working because the other person's not doing her inner work and it's not building her capacity and willingness to meet me in this. That's totally legitimate. That's fine. But I'm not overstretching and overstepping my own boundaries all the time to meet this person over there because she's not coming her way. And that's a wonderful way for me to actually feel solid ground beneath my feet when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. And I also experienced that with sadness.
Mm,
I had a friend, and she is now one of my best friends. And a couple of years ago, I was sad, and she was dealing with depression for a long time.
mm,
And she was really honest to me, Wiebke, and said, I don't know if I can handle your sadness right now.
mm,
It was a bit painful,
mhm,
but later on, I realized that she was just taking good care of herself.
mhm.
And now
Exactly.
we're just like really more and more sensitive. And I'm also like more and more opening up.
Mm,
There's just really, it's just like a few people.
mhm,
And I wanted to talk about that second situation. I am a yoga teacher, and you learn in yoga when you do like shavasana, like talk to the people, close your eyes. And in the past, there was one person, and it's a little bit maybe embarrassing, but this shows how I worked, that she didn't close her eyes. And I was just like standing there, or I just like tried in a maybe not so aware or empathetic way to tell, close your eyes. I just told you, just like, close your eyes. Or just like, oh, she can't relax, like that, like you feel better because someone is not able to do something, because you learned when you're able to handle everything and you have everything under control, you are better, and it makes you feel good because you don't want to feel how bad you are inside. So,
mm,
and then I learned something really important, to a very good friend of mine, you know her too, like Jennifer Weller,
Mm.
said, please give the space because people can feel so unsafe and anxiety can show up when you just force them close their eyes. And I don't I don't know. It was it's just like I see the version I was before right now.
Mm.
Very not like empathetic or just like trying to survive. Yeah,
Mm.
that's what we do because we don't want to face situations and we don't have capacity and we don't have compassion.
Mm.
So I think people, the more I can feel that they have compassion. This is for me like the game-changing moments with people. I
Mm.
feel wow, and also like compassion for myself. So it's
Mm.
like a win-win situation. When you have more compassion with yourself, you can have more situations like
Mm.
you have compassion with other people.
Mm. I've got a question for that.
Yeah.
Could it be that in this version of yours where you weren't aware of, okay, maybe this is something that might cause anxiety if people are closing their eyes during a yoga session, that this was your way of applying compassion?
You
Like
mean?
if they do this, they will feel better.
I think because I learned it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was very much like to follow the rules, probably.
Yeah. With best intentions.
Of course. In that moment, yes.
Absolutely. So that's what I was thinking about. Like,
Mm.
um, I think when we do this work and we learn about nervous system states, that we get a different perspective on compassion itself, and that compassion towards us usually means
Mm.
I didn't know and I couldn't react to something I didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's often the part where I can sense traces of harshness towards ourselves, like an echo of old belief systems. And I go like, well, what's the most compassionate view
Mm.
on these techniques, practices, ways we applied? Because they were essential for us to do this other step deeper into compassion and what that actually means. Because compassion usually, just like courage or respect or whatever value you want to apply, it doesn't come with a recipe of how you want to live it. Compassion might mean something totally different to what I apply as compassion, or what people listening to this podcast might perceive as safe in a relationship. So, what's the actionable, the tangible behavior we want to apply to be compassionate? So, that was something that I tried to figure out when I was in this state of
Yeah.
learning the basics. What's the behavior? How do I show up? How can I call what do I need to hold myself accountable for? Did I do this or did I not do that?
Mhm.
So it's not like a checklist, but it gives you a sense of, did I behave the way I wanted to behave?
For me, when you're talking about it's like take the first situation when the coach told me that's your stress.
Mhm.
So it's not like and then I am, well, that's the next step, then I may be angry because I don't feel seen.
Mhm.
Can I just like evolve so much more that I am compassionate with that coach?
Yeah.
Because it's always for me like a mirror how I was.
Mm. Because the
Mhm.
compassion in this particular situation, for me personally, I'm just
Mhm.
talking about me, would mean I'm first and foremost compassionate with myself, which
Mhm.
puts up boundaries.
Yes.
And I tell myself, okay, you don't see me, I see myself, this is a no-go, and this is what I'm communicating. And then we have a conversation, and this might mean, okay, we go separate ways, or this means we connect deeper. But this is not just up to me. And that's what compassion really means for me, because I was overstepping my boundaries for so long that I needed to find a way to get a clear picture of what's happening here, what's off. And I need the other person to respect that, not to understand. That's something we can talk about, but to respect that, to pause, to say, okay, I validate that you feel that way. I'm not gaslighting you into thinking you're weird, or I'm dismissing that as not being valuable because it's part of the relationship. And it's for me, it's on the very foundation of any relationship. So yeah, compassion is one of the ways where I feel like it's much more needed
Yeah.
than it usually gets credit for, because it's such a facilitator for all these very foundational aspects that we need as human beings, especially in an online world, in an ever-changing world, to say, okay, this is the ground I'm working on. And if this is not given, then I need to change something. And this is something that's within my power.
I think we could talk about right now around like that topic.
Mm.
Um, I just thought about like to finish like the second situation with that
Mm.
eyes like open and close, and to give like people space, or just like maybe to give an advice or like a buffet, or like that I can like pick what I want to do,
Mm.
that I have like the choice, and
Mm.
not to force like anything. And for me, it's still game changing that I did my nervous system work. So now when I work with, or I be with people, I can feel better their state of what's like coming up, or just like how we are in which state, or probably just like, oh, there's like maybe a little anxiety, or what is it right now. So
Mm.
I think it's really important also as a coach that you can better probably sense the other person, or like ask, is this like too anxious for you? I feel maybe like a little stress right now. How do you feel? So that you can better help them to navigate.
Mm.
Because before, I was not aware of that. I was
Absolutely.
in my mind, and I had the rules. And now it's just like it's a different work now.
Mm.
Maybe more quiet and more silent and more calm and more slow.
Mm.
So um maybe they're like the folks outside, and you think, okay, now you're talking around the nervous system, and,
Mhm.
and then you explored like the states and ventral and connection. How can we get there?
Mm.
So
Totally.
what do you do, Wiebke, to regulate yourself and to be in that wonderful ventral state when we feel connected and safe?
Mm.
And also like have like, yeah, kind of boundaries which are not like harsh.
Mm.
Feel, no, that's not good for me. No, 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 no. I wanna like be in my inner world.
Mm.
What I mean?
um, I gotta say, I'm living by some principles rather than strategies or rules. Um, so one of those principles is which we talked about before we started recording is I have like a focus hour every morning where I come down, I've got my tea, and I sit down and have an hour to myself to focus on either what's coming up for me right now, this particular day. What do I want to do for my business? What are kind of topics, issues I want to dive deeper into to develop a deeper understanding, because I believe we always sense quality when we are with other persons. We can sense a kind of care. And this is something I want to apply to every aspect of my life. So I'm sitting here each morning, have an hour to myself. Phone is switched off, and I'm just in a distraction-free zone. And this is really something that not only my business profited from, but also my personal relationships. I'm a much kinder person because I can be more present. I've got the sense of fulfillment before my day really starts, because I'm doing something meaningful that I think is important and has impact. So I'm not chasing achievements anymore during the day, which makes me so much calmer. And I'm a better friend, sister, dog owner, a better stranger in the supermarket, because I can be present. And I feel a bit more orientated and connected. Like, what's my inner map saying? Where did I wake up today? And is this, where is maybe anxiety coming from? Or maybe where's this, why does my body actually mobilize energy? Might be even in a fun, joyful way. Like, what am I looking forward to? Oh, here we go. I've got this podcast interview. There you go. And just to pinpoint, to have these coordinates and to know, okay, this is going on, this is fine. So I can communicate in a much more conscious way. And it's a different way of reaching out to a life that feels most fulfilled. And I always try to define that, to have a vision, but I'm not a good vision kind of person. I'm all about the journey. I'm all about the process. So I go like, what if I just focus on today, the week, the month? And when I tried that, it turns out this is actually quite regulating for me to start a day and knowing I've done something meaningful for myself. So I feel like a focused life is a fulfilled life because of these different aspects of what focus and minimizing distractions is actually doing for my nervous system, and therefore for the relationships I'm in, my sense of connection and belonging. Because first and foremost, I start the day with belonging to myself and knowing who I am today and what I need to tell people. Like, don't talk to me for the next 3 hours. I'm angry at something. Okay, good. or to decide, no coffee in the morning, thank you very much. I'm already a bit anxious. I'm on the edge. Caffeine would be absolutely devastating. I'd like to have the house still standing, so I'll just have a green tea, a matcha, or whatever. And it's basically a practice of listening. And then starting the day from there, and then telling people what I've perceived. Yeah. So deep work is a way of regulating my nervous system, to have these amounts of time, sometimes even just 30 minutes, where I'm not distracted, where I don't have to switch my focus, because just, which we talked about before we started recording, this mobile phone, to have WhatsApp, Instagram, all these things. I want to use these tools, but I don't want these tools to use me. So I have to be really, really conscious. When and where am I using these devices? And if I use them too much, I feel drained, I feel exhausted. And I get frustrated. Like, I didn't do much. Why am I frustrated and drained? Where did my energy go? And I figured out this is a great magnet for my energy if I'm not very conscious. You get 10 minutes from me now because I want to use you for my business, in the case of Instagram, and then I have to switch out again. So the first thing I do when I switch on my mobile phone is to go to the clock, and I put on a timer for 10 minutes, and then I start whatever I do. So I deliberately use a distraction, for I have to leave Instagram to turn out the timer. So, and then I can make a conscious choice. Do I need another 5 minutes to finish the post? Or was I scrolling? But I'm not using these devices again without having implemented a distraction so my nervous system can readjust and go like, do I want to be here? Is this how I want to spend my time?
Mhm.
And this I find very regulating. It's like a slow down button to disrupt some automatic patterns,
And
dynamics.
like to have it under control in that sense that you have the power, that it does not have the power on you,
Yeah, in a way.
that you can navigate.
It's yeah, it's a way of it stems from me knowing this pattern that I for a long time confused communication with connection. So tools like social media can be kind of addictive when it comes to I'm seeking connections, so I'm spending more and more time on these apps, but I'm not really connecting. I'm not producing value here. My system is circling around where are people to connect to? Where's my tribe? Da, da, da. And I go like, this is not what I need right now. So this is a conscious choice to disrupt this pattern with setting the timer to 10 minutes and then go like, did I do what I wanted to do? And if I didn't, I need to step away from that and maybe take another 20 minutes to focus on the issue I wanted to write my post about or
Mhm.
connect with a friend or checking in with my body and realize I'm actually really hungry. So this makes me prone to rather being on Instagram than just getting up and cook something. So this all stems from knowing my own patterns and how my dynamics kick in and that I need a conscious disruption because Instagram won't do this. You've got this infinite scroll. You can go on all day and I need to have a cut and to make a conscious decision.
And for me, it's like social media is so interesting. And I'm like that explorer. So I try to be aware what's going on right now.
Mhm.
Like to observe my brain and what do I need? Is this like, okay, connection, addiction? What is really like the strategy? Is it am I more hungry than I need? Like talking to
Mm.
someone? Can I just like call a friend right now because I need connection, or just like go outside, or just like work in a cafe, not here alone? So it's for me like to ask myself, what do I really need right now? And I know the timer thing.
Mm.
I could use it. I tried, I failed. But it's so really funny, and everyone has its own approach. And maybe in a couple of weeks, I say, I want to have the timer because, I
Mhm.
was a triathlete, so I was used like to have the timer all the time. Maybe just like, I don't know. I think it's like I want to really observe and I want my inner team on my side. And it's like I go to Instagram and I have an idea for a post. And then it's like, it's so funny that I see something. Oh, a friend is posting something wonderful. Like you go into Instagram and you want to give him a heart because I want to support that. And then my brain says, wait, now you're giving your energy away. It goes away from the post. You can
Mm.
do that, but it won't be like 100% anymore. It's just like only 90.
Mm.
Like my system has started talking to me. And this is cool because we have such a wise inner team inside of us.
Totally.
So, and then for me, then it's like, I feel my nervous system is like, okay, now this is really too much. You have to get out of it.
Mm.
This is just like the game I play right now. Because
Absolutely.
I want to just like I want to figure out what is happening and how
Mm.
can I help people if like maybe a strategy or whatever this is not working, what could work, or how can we just like really, I think it's of course about focus and intention and also like the goals you have, like it's your
Mm.
business.
Mm.
And also like self-worth because it's your energy and it's the highest good you have.
Mm.
So it's like you work on like different levels. So
Mm.
really excited about that topic. And sometimes
Yeah.
really like, okay, now I did it again. I dysregulated myself. I lost.
Mm.
and I'm not in the mood for my own post right now. So let's like make that better. And like so
Yeah.
this is not the game I play right now.
Mm.
I think what nourishes me a lot is silence then.
Mm.
I realize, okay, there was too much. It was for groceries, and I come home and I have silence.
Mm.
Like everything is off, and I'm lying on the sofa. I don't need to have like a meditation pose.
Mm.
Not now. Just
Mm.
like when I come like inside of my apartment, not like how I did in the past, just like to be on schedule and like to get keep on going, just like no,
Mm.
1 minute.
Mm.
Lying down on the couch, 1 minute.
Mm.
Or in the
And
morning,
then,
just don't like get up right away, 10 minutes in the bathroom, and then like just like no. How do I
mm.
feel this morning?
Mhm.
And sometimes this can take half an hour, sometimes it's 1 hour or 2 hours, and I'm processing a lot in those moments because then things sometimes coming up and I process them from the past.
Mhm.
Or belief systems or words or my pattern or intentions, whatever, or like
Mm.
sentences from my parents, like, oh my God, it's like,
Mm.
and I'm processing. I'm just like,
Mm.
I'm feeling through
Mm.
and I just do nothing. Just like, and but my inner work is like
Mm.
lots of work
Yeah, and that's
on the
that's
outside.
that was a great misunderstanding when I started. I mean, I've got this background in social science, and I did emotional research. And I used to have like a bad conscience when I was sitting on a train, traveling 3 hours in a row, and just staring out the window. And I could work right now, only realizing later on that this was a kind of focus which I needed because my body was making connections about what I was learning. This is why I like vacuuming so much, because when I come out from a deep working session and I've put all this into my mind and it's puzzling together, how does this make sense? How do I want to apply this? And when I start vacuuming, doing some shallow work, like you can do it anytime, it's not really demanding, kind of starts clicking.
Yes,
And to have this spotlight focus and then to go into starlight focus is really a wonderful way of allowing your body to process, to digest whatever kind of knowledge came in, what kind of input you got. And this is something that I'm dancing all day between, and
yes,
to have my nervous system on board to ease into spotlight focus and to say this is safe, this is fine, no relationship is suffering because I'm sitting here for an hour. This is absolutely agreeable, and I informed everyone. If someone wants to reach me, they still can, but they have to take another hurdle. So they will
yes,
definitely think twice about calling me now. And that's a wonderful full way to have my body on board. It's not just about mind work. These two have to come together.
yes.
Yeah.
And
So we can actually have fun with it, just to be creative with that.
and also that allowance that you don't
Hmm.
add. I
Yeah.
still feel bad sometimes because I feel like I'm not productive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like a fabric inside of me. So I
Mm.
can't do anything else
Yeah.
because my body
That.
needs that reprocessing space. And it,
Mm.
I mean, when we talk about somatic practice, like we have that tools of like pressing here the eyebrow or like here, like touching the side of your neck, what you could do, or like your breast or like breathe, and you can do that's wonderful. I try to integrate that in my day or do some balancing or stretching on the stairs and focus when I walk. But I feel like sometimes my body says no, no
Hmm.
pressure, not another technique, not another tool,
Mm.
please.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And I don't know who is listening. When I work with people, I feel like they want more. It's like, give me something.
Mm.
And so I have a lot of ideas. I can give you thousands of things you could do, but maybe less is more.
Mm. Definitely. And when I think about, just to circle back to the beginning, when I was in the freezing state, what I really craved was less, but I didn't know.
Yes.
I couldn't grasp that idea because
Mm.
I was, as you just said, I was kind of hardwired into being productive, which meant I had to get more input, I had to understand, I had to know, and to actually pause and say, I don't know, felt excruciatingly vulnerable and dangerous because I had to be the one that knows things. And to actually go like, well, I've got no idea what's going on. Let's get curious. How do I actually measure productivity
Yes, that's a
in my knowledge
oh,
founded
oh my God,
business?
that a good question.
How do I measure that? And that was really hard because the first thing when I'm working with entrepreneurs is, oh, I'm measuring it by the amount of content I'm producing.
Yes.
And I go like, well, that's an entrance into another hamster wheel, isn't it? Because now you've got to keep going. And this is what especially many women are telling me.
Because you have
Well,
to post
now,
because of the algorithm.
yeah, and now I have to do 3 episodes a week of my podcast and 5 posts, and then I'm productive. And I go like, how do you feel about it? Well, stressed and exhausted, even thinking about it. And I go like, well, then it's not your rhythm. This is not how we can measure productivity. Because what about these 3 hours you're staring out the window? Oh, I've got a very bad conscience about that. See? So this is not working. So how do we measure productivity? And I was tapping into that and I was condensing it all into my Impact Academy. But one of the essences that actually came out that especially when we work with knowledge and nervous system and applying your expertise and getting contact to your own behavioral patterns, these are our perspectives on knowledge. Your body has knowledge. It has experiences stored inside the cells. You can work with your own thoughts, your own experiences. All these are knowledge aspects. And there is no definite definition of productivity for knowledge workers. So every coach, every yoga teacher, anyone who's trying to convey experiences, mentorship coaching, there's no objective measurement for productivity in knowledge because it's not a single step modality. You're not standing at a table and you're producing 5 chairs a day. And then you can measure 3 chairs are too little for today. You're not very productive. But when it comes to connecting different kinds of knowledges, like I read a book, I spoke to that person, I worked with a client, how can I create a new offer from all this that will support these persons I want to work with? No single step you could measure your productivity in that. So for me, it was kind of how do we measure the fuzzy stuff? It's about behavior. And this is why I went to deep work and focus, because this is something that calms down the nervous system to just know, okay, to think deeply about something is a quality that people can sense, but there's no single item I can pull out from my morning session and say, I produced this, because it's still invisible. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm totally at peace with that. But to actually step out of this myth of productivity, massive changer.
It's like, I don't know, we had like not like, I don't know what the time says. Please let me know when you like have to leave because
Mm,
this
it's
could
all
open
good.
it could open up really a great topic of mine as well.
Mm,
When you're self-employed, you have to make money.
mm,
And when you don't have any money anymore on your bank account, you have like a problem because you have
you do.
like you
Yeah.
have to do something. And this is really I have some fun, weird, strange, and maybe wonderful stories for you. I got bookings and things happened when I did nothing at all.
Yeah.
That was funny. Then I just enjoyed myself. It was funny. So I have that experience. But there is also a part inside of me that likes to be productive and to create. I
Hmm.
love to create.
Hmm.
I love, like, sometimes it was 2 days ago, I created a gift offer on my website. And so have a look at it if you want to. It's like a gift, so a light language gift. And it was like in a force. And it's like the health coach said, no, it's 10 o'clock, you won't put on the MacBook again. And that was like, come on, we love that part too. Now we get up and we do something really unusual and we take that MacBook into your bed. It was like a part and feel it was like satisfied afterwards. It sounds so weird.
Mm.
I can't
Mm-mm.
like give you that advice to do that. Don't do that. Because you're
Oh,
just
why
like
not?
the blue light filter and just like don't do that. It's just like my
Oh.
journey. But there's a part that says, come on, sometimes maybe it's
Mm.
necessary to break everything if you are really in the mood, if you really want to do it, or if you really feel like, oh my God, I forgot something maybe which is really important for your website. That there's something this is not working, and so to differentiate.
Hmm.
There is not like black and white thing. This is so my journey right now. And
Totally.
of course, I know that anxious part. I mean, just can look back and say, okay, sometimes I have minus on my bank account last month a lot, but it worked out from month to month. It worked out that I just like, I have to trust. I
Mm.
really not like have or need or whatever. It's like to build up trust
Mm.
that the money comes when you're ready. Because I also do think that in some kind of way, that energy you feel inside of you and then you put into a post
Mm.
probably is felt by the counterpart.
Absolutely. And I deeply believe that you can sense if someone actually thought deeply about the post, the language, the
Mhm.
implications, the suggestions of your language, etc., or if it was just pulled together in 5 minutes. Maybe some people are really fast and they're doing high quality work in 5 minutes, but I mean by this, okay, you didn't put in much thought. I deeply believe that we absolutely can sense this quality and this care. And for me, especially as you were pointing out the trusting part, I believe confidence, self-belief is a core ingredient for a fulfilled life. So you wouldn't start anything if there wasn't a kind of self-belief that you could pull this off. And trusting for me is a very active part. It's an activity. So for many people, and me included, it used to be this kind of passive way of, okay, now I'm manifested and I had my affirmations and stuff, and now this is trusting to just lean back, but I need to do the action steps as well. But what are these action steps? Which kind of circles us back to productivity. And to actually know, because I had to do this last year when we were facing a very challenging 2 months where I had only 2 hours per day left for my business, to actually realize I can condense all my productivity into 2 hours and it's working.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, what a revelation, because
I
I was
agree.
doing this for hours on end and I go like, no, you have to do it in 2 hours max and you can.
Yes.
And not in an anxious, dysregulated way, because I knew I'm setting these 2 hours. This is my time. This is something where I found meaning in, and therefore it's the most fulfilling thing to do this. This is not something extra, another to do. This is the core of what I want to do.
Yes.
And then it felt like, oh my God, if I can do this in the morning, that I feel no pressure at all for the rest of the day because I did it. And then I can take care of the people that need me and need more time than I would usually allocate to them. So, oh, it was a really interesting experience to stop chasing and to know how to start attracting.
And I, when we talk about human design, I'm a manifesting generator. So those are the people like lots of ideas and like, so I go, for example, into the woods for 2 hours.
Mm,
Then I relax, and then I have ideas coming up.
mm,
Then I come back home, and then I put them out, sometimes literally in 5 minutes.
mm,
And it's done.
mm,
It's not about like fighting also that I have lots of cool things and I can be focused, but what I did in the past was everyone has like maybe has a website, know what I'm talking about, that you see thousands of things you can improve. You, I just like I slept with my website. I played Tetris with like the menu and all that stuff. So and it's still inside of me. So
mm,
it's not like I have a passion to improve things, but
mm,
a new learning is I have one or at least two things I want to do on my website.
mm,
And then I learn and study that my inner team guides me, or myself, then, because my inner team is me, to do that and nothing anymore. I say, okay. And like also my brain or my inner kid, like that parts that say, we were talking about only that,
mm,
not
mhm,
more.
mm,
And then like
mm,
to go out of your website again.
mhm.
And also to do things when they like not perfect, that it's enough.
Yeah, yeah.
This is enough.
Exactly. And how do you define enough so you truly believe yourself it's enough? It's not something that comes from the outside, it's dictated, and you go like, oh yeah, due to my new routine of self-care, I should stop now. Because then I would roll around in bed all night until I've done that. But if I feel like this is genuinely enough right now, no problem at all, switch the laptop open, I'm totally content with that. But to really to really feel that, it's like, this is so fuzzy. And to actually have your own coordinates, your own little checklist, to have something where you measure your behavior and you go like, this is when I feel the most content. And this might change radically. Like it all boils down to self-acceptance because I come from overachieving. Like I used to work hard.
Yeah, and
And then I totally stepped out of that, went into the other extreme, tried to relax as much as I could, only to realize I like to work. There are
yes,
people who really are looking forward to a 1 day a week kind of way. And for me, that would look like personal hell. I really enjoy working and I like working 7 days a week, which doesn't make me feel like, okay, you're a workaholic because I enjoy it. And the really important question is, are you happy? Are you content? Or are you getting on your nerves working 5 days a week? Are you pushing yourself to do it? Or are you going like, you know what? This is really enjoyable. And I like to produce a podcast episode now. And I like to spend 3 hours thinking about focus. And I like to figure out what my deep work routine is. And yes, this is how I figured out I can't meditate sitting still. I'm going up the walls. Well, I meditate walking around the forest. Fine. Okay, what's next? So,
yes. Or leaning on a tree,
yeah,
sitting on a tree, and the tree helps me. Or just like
yeah,
this morning, I was sitting here, but just like for, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds.
yeah.
Then I was done with meditating. It was okay.
Oh, yes. And to actually stop self-shaming yourself when you are on the other side of the spectrum, to actually like working quite a lot. That's fine. The difference is, how do you experience yourself while working?
And also to, I mean, so I think it's of course a lot what we learn like in that spiritual bubble. Like you have to be in the present moment or you have to be mindful. So I try to do the laundry mindful.
Oh God.
And like to be in the present moment, all the cleaning.
Mm,
And it worked. It worked. So if you
mm.
really focus on that, it can work. But then I realized
I'm not good at that.
I don't like to do that. That's not my favorite stuff. And I
I'm
don't
s
cook this time. I like just like to have little stuff in my fridge.
Mm.
Then I don't have a car and I take a walk for, I don't know, a couple of kilometers and get just little stuff, which
Mm.
I can eat right now, and I have a walk. So I move.
Mm.
Combine those things that I feel good with it.
Mm.
And that I don't like to do the laundry like for 2 hours. I just like want to get rid of it and
Mm.
accept that it's me.
Yeah.
'Cause I never liked household. So I like to work. I like to do my thing.
Mm.
So
And yeah,
yeah,
and absolutely. And I personally, I'm useless with laundry, but I'm absolutely love cleaning. It's great.
something
It's relaxing. It's wonderful. It's the other side of this pendulum of doing really deep focused work, and then to realize, oh my God, and now I can really see my productivity by cleaning the bathroom.
wonderful.
Love it. What a release. Okay, great. And then I come back to my own stuff. And meanwhile, my body is processing and is just doing what it can best. And to accept that is a way for me to be very self-compassionate.
Absolutely.
I will. I just stop trying to press myself into something that people might want to see because it looks like the new strategy of mindfulness. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in how do I and my inner world really feel connected, seen and safe, like they belong, and they won't when I'm trying to force everything into one day because this is what the new strategy looks like. I'm not interested in that. And that's so interesting just to realize, yeah, actually I don't mind working. Have fun with your laundry. I respect that, but I'm really happy you're all into that because this is something where you can really compliment me.
Yeah.
I'll do the vacuuming and the gardening and all these things, but
And
just
everyone has its like favorite things.
yeah,
She's living in a living community, and she loved just like to use that like the dishwasher.
yeah,
I don't use
got a wonderful.
anymore. I just like I have my cups not that much and I clean it away
Mm,
because it overwhelms me if I have thousand things I have to take care of like about. So it's
mm,
like to
yeah.
find out what is it what regulates you.
Mm. And to keep exploring, like many things change over time, and you go like, okay, this is not about avoidance. This is about just accepting for the time being. This is what I gather,
Yes. And
and I stay open. Maybe I discover like just leaning on a tree is a wonderful thing, and
find your own.
yeah, yeah, we are ever evolving. We never stand still. So maybe in 2 weeks' time, I'm sitting here and I go like, I love laundry.
Amazing.
What a revelation!
And I say,
This is
I don't have a car now. I love to
yeah. Oh
floating.
God, best meditation for
Race
Wiebke's laundry.
cars, driving race cars, whatever.
Whatever. It's all changing over time, and that's great. That's wonderful. So we need to stay curious,
Yes.
compassionate, and courageous.
So how can we make a conclusion now out of the wonderful things we created?
Well, in my mind, I was just circling back to where we started, like entering a free state and having all this energy and ideas and inspiration within us is oftentimes blocked by expectations we learn to impose onto ourselves and to start being curious about how do I actually work? What
Yes.
does my inner map look like? Is the most encouraging thing I can offer
Yes.
to come back to a new openness and to change your perspective by 1 degree and realize, wow, I thought I am such and such, and I realized this was a coping mechanism, and I'm with the right people, I'm a very bubbly, energetic person. And the rest of the day, I'm rather introverted, and that's fine.
Like an
So,
extrovert and both. Yes.
yeah. And I believe we are always both. And I'd be bloody miserable just doing my deep work all day, all year long. We need both sides of the spectrum, and
And
just be curious where you find yourself today.
yeah, and maybe this is important too when you are really harsh on yourself and you realize you're traumatized and then you read about compensation strategies. I try to figure out what mine was and then I try to cut them off right away. Don't to do that anymore.
Mm,
It got worse.
yeah,
So
we could talk on end, Doris, about
yeah.
all his.
So
Okay, 1 year later, still
yes.
recording. No problem.
Like, and then to figure out, okay, which strategy might be is a strategy, but maybe it's useful.
Yeah,
Maybe sometimes I count on three.
yeah.
It's to
And
cut
you,
off the borders thing. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then
mm,
I just try to cut it off. So this is compensation strategy. And if
mm,
you use too much water, then no. One,
mm,
two, three. This is fun. Okay, I am relaxed.
mm. And really, my encouragement is because it's a very complex topic, and
It is.
to make it a bit more simple is to go for principles.
Or
Look at
maybe rituals. Maybe we
what
can just like call it a compensation. We can call it like a ritual that helps you right now, not to being.
absolutely. So come back to principles and not to strategies and rules because they can change all the time, and these are things that are allowed to fluctuate and be flexible about them. But you have to really think about what makes you feel safe
Yes.
and to um, explore everything around safety and fun and curiosity and to go from there and to keep exploring what this actually means to you, to feel seen. And you will find a lot of people that think along the same lines and where you really feel seen and safe when you are able to articulate what you believe and what's fundamental to you, what's really profound. And then life becomes even more easy.
Yeah, and also to have capacities with like maybe another little example that when you're taught or you're stressed out and you try to be fast and like hold up the dopamine all the time,
Mm,
and then realize you are really slow.
mm,
And sometimes I leave the apartment and then it's a part like insecure. Did I close everywhere the windows? And then the judgmental part says, no, I don't want to look at it. We already did that. We have to move, we have to go, we don't have time for that shit. Oh, there's a part who doesn't feel secure.
mm,
Like having my
mhm,
child say, do you want to look? Okay, and if we look 10 times, then we look 10 times. And it's like, no, I did not look. I want to
mm,
really recognize the window. And it could happen that I'm like staring at the window. And I have like that moment, I feel that pause, that perception, which has high quality in that moment because I'm really present. And then I take a deep breath and then I can leave the apartment.
mm,
It's not like tick, 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 tick.
mm. You always make sense, always. And if we can't grasp that sense,
Yes.
then it's the invitation to keep exploring.
Yeah, that's so cool. So thank you very much for sharing, for exploring, for yeah, as well putting yourself out into the world because this
Mm,
is courageous.
thank you.
And to talk about vulnerable topics.
Mm,
And I wish we could have so much more topics with you, of course, and
mm,
everyone
mm,
to allow yourself to be slow, vulnerable, anxious,
mm,
and that it's okay. And it's more and more okay. And establish your own principles.
mm.
And maybe
Thank you.
you figure out what your values are,
Mm.
your standards are, and that no one can cross your standards anymore.
Mm.
So,
Mm. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, for this frame that we could meet here again. Looking forward to a next time.
yes.
And yeah, I'm curious what we might explore next. We've got a lot of topics. So maybe some of your listeners would like to share their own preference on a
Yeah.
topic. Would be great to know what you think about all this, to start a dialogue, to
Mhm.
create a sense of connection here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you were talking about the Impact Academy.
Yeah.
The next round, when it just like gets started, so we can put it in the show notes or the video
Oh, thank
below.
you.
Do you have a
Yeah.
like a date for it?
Yeah, I'm thinking about all the commitments I've made for this year. So it's still running. So I'm thinking about next year. Um, but I'm offering a kind of Jubilee edition, a kind of deep work practice day on the 6th of October,
That's cool.
where I'd like
Yeah.
to give you a deeper insight into my learnings of 5 years of being in business and to work according to my core beliefs and to give you nervous system knowledge, connection, and to give this opportunity of meeting other people who feel like you, who are maybe a bit confused, a bit lost, a bit lonely, and try to look for their people. So this is what I'd like to give back after 5 years of co-creation.
And you have a website as well,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Grimmig
Yeah.
and a podcast which is called Coming Home.
Mm,
And you
thank you.
on Instagram, Facebook. So when people like also to work with you,
Mm,
I don't know if you have spots free right now, they can just like get in touch with you and
absolutely.
book you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Have a great one, Wiebke.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.